Hey guys, Shane here, Aus Flight Simmer. Welcome to another episode of Test Drive. Now, if you haven't caught one of these before, this is where we take a scenery, aircraft, or utility in different types of flight simulators, and I'll take it for a spin around the block and give you my first impressions. Is it value for money? In this video, we are taking the PA-38 Tomahawk from Just Flight for a spin around the block. So stick around, hit that subscribe button for more weekly content.
I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, 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 I just feel so good.
If you're not familiar with the Tomahawk, it's a single-engine, low-wing monoplane with a T-hull and enclosed cabin for two. It has a fixed tricycle, a landing gear, and is powered by a Lycoming 02354 4-cylinder piston engine with a twin-blade tractor propeller. The PA-38 Tomahawk is made by Piper. It was introduced in 1978 and was produced between 78 and 82, and just under 2,500 were built. In my opinion, Just Flight has done a very accurate exterior modelling of the aircraft with HD textures and bump mapping. They've also used PBR in some of the liveries from version 4.4 and above. And some of the other features that Just Flight have included in this package is gauge and needle wobble, dimensional instrument lighting, cockpit textures that have the wear and tear look as of the real aircraft, interactive engine start checklist, interactive checklist for every stage of the flight, panel state system where it automatically saves the panel state wherever the flight is saved, compatible with the Flight 1 GTN GNS. I'm not using that today, I'm just showing you the default aircraft. Custom code electrical systems, functional carburetor heat and primer control, failures including spark plugs and fouling, limited battery life, vapor lock and more. Refuel, a menu for quick and easy fuel and oil recharging of the battery. A bunch of liveries from the UK, US, Germany, Canada, France, Netherlands and Australia. Authentic Lycoming 023 sounds and much more. It's a pretty detailed PA-38 Tomahawk. Before we jump into the cockpit, we'll have a quick look at the menu that comes with the packages. It's pretty dumbed down from some of the Just Flight aircraft in the past, but it comes with the automatic start, the checklist for all parts of the flight, including pre-flight and takeoff and landing. All that sort of stuff is there. The flight computer that has all your fuel burns and all the information that you need. I don't think I've really used this in the past, but it could be handy. And also the little tow tug, so you can position your aircraft in the right area or in the hangar if you like. As we jump into the cockpit, there is another menu which you can toggle it through the switch over on the co-pilot side, and it's used to refuel your aircraft with oil, fuel, recharge the batteries, and just basically check with all your liquids are and maintaining the aircraft for the flight. Jumping in the cockpit of the Tomahawk, we'll close the door so you can hear the sounds. And we'll do a quick startup. It's a basic aircraft, so there's not much to it. We'll pop onto the right fuel tank, prime the aircraft with 3 pumps. Adjust the mixture and a notch of throttle for the start. Turn the battery on, you can hear the whine. And then we'll start her up. Not much else to do, but we'll turn on the radio lights on the right hand side, turn on the transponder and the 2 radios. Obviously this aircraft doesn't have a GPS because we're not using the Flight 1 today, but that's pretty much the startup of the Tomahawk. We are ready for taxi, so we're at Key West International Airport. This is where we're going to do our test flight today of the Tomahawk. You need about 3rd throttle to get her moving, but being a tricycle gear, I should say, I find it very sensitive on the taxi to move around, so I've actually had to adjust the sensitivities of the pedals in the sim. I'm using the virtual fly rudder pedals. just a bit cautious of this guy in the maintenance truck, and yep, he's just gonna go straight through us. Thanks for that, buddy. We will keep continuing on. So again, just applying about a third of the throttle to get her moving. Once she's moving, she's pretty easy to taxi. You don't really need a third of the throttle just to get the aircraft moving. So as you can see, making a left-hand turn and then a right-hand turn, it is very easy to overcompensate on the rudder pedals and move off the lines. So on today's flight, the plan is to go and do some left turns, some right turns, and then we're going to do a power stall and see how the aircraft flies, and then we'll come in for a landing. But it's a beautiful day flying down in Key West. We are all configured and ready for takeoff, so we're going to make our way out onto the runway. I'm going to be quiet now so you guys can hear the sounds as we rumble down the runway and take off at Key West International. There we go, we're up in the air. No need to put the wheels up because we're a fixed landing gear aircraft. I find that basically you can pull back on the yoke around about 70 without any flaps, and then she'll pop up from the runway, and then from there it's pretty easy going. This aircraft flies very well by itself, but we're just going to gain some altitude. We'll make a right hand turn just up here before we get to the cruise ships. We don't want to bother the holiday makers. And then we will make our way to what I would call the practice area for today's flight.
I see the world through my thrift store shades, rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on, playing old rock songs on an air guitar, posing for your picture like a superstar. Yeah, come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good.
So we've made it to our practice area. We're going to begin with a left-hand turn. We're going to try to keep it around 1500, 1600, no more within 200 feet of that. So we'll make a left-hand turn. We're going to pick a spot on the water somewhere if we can, and try not to get distracted by the beauty of the water. We'll use that black bit of coral as the point, and as we're coming around. So with this aircraft, you're pretty much fine. Once you begin into a turn, you can pretty much let it go. You don't need to adjust the wheel as much. We'll see how we go on the rollout as we come around to 2.4. There we go, and pretty much stayed on the spot there. Obviously we're going to increase altitude now because we've gained some speed, so we'll need to rectify that. And now we'll begin with the right hand turn, see if we can do the same on the way back. It's a little bit hard to find a position in all this beautiful water to sort of fix our eyes on as we do a 180 back. Found on this turn that we did increase altitude and needed to compensate for that, but we're going to pull out at 060. There we go. On the way, just going to rotate out of the turn, and that one there we sort of rose probably about 120 feet during that turn. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to see how she performs in a stall. She performs quite well with turning, so this aircraft's great if you want to fly slow around and do pattern work around your airport. So we're going to start pulling back on the stick straight away. So as we move up to 1,000 feet, starting to drop down altitude down to 70. We'll keep it at 1,000 feet, see how much she drops off. We need to pull back on the yoke a little bit more. She's actually holding herself quite well. We're full throttle at this stage. This is a full throttle stall. Sitting at 65 and holding quite strong at 70, so we're going to have to pull back on the yoke a little bit more. Now I have to adjust the yoke to the right to keep it straight. Down to 60, I'm going to have to pull back even more. Starting to lose speed. Vert speed's dropping, we're sitting at 800, really need starting to apply pressure on the yoke now. It's holding itself well. We're at 50. And there's a stall alarm and a massive drop over in the wing dip there. And as we got a rush of speed and altitude, we need to pull up here quickly, won't overstress the aircraft, and we'll just get ourselves out of trouble. But it holds itself very well at low speeds, but when it does stall, geez, that's a bit of reaction. A lot of fun, actually. Just Flight's PA-38 Tomahawk flies very well. It's a lot of fun. Off camera I tried to do some barrel rolls and loops, so she's not the most aerobatic aircraft. Got the barrel roll, but no, she can't do a loop. But we're going to make our way back to the airport, throw in a bit of a montage, and we'll see how she lands and how easy it is to trim this aircraft up for the approach into Key West.
I see the world through my thrift store shades, rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on, playing old rock songs on an air guitar, posing for your picture like a superstar. Yeah, come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good, good.
We are now lined up on runway 27. We're just under 1,000 feet and beginning our approach in. I believe we've got some red and white puppies there. So finding this aircraft, it is pretty hands-off to fly. As you can see on the turns and on the power stall, she can handle quite well. Once you've got the aircraft trimmed up, she flies well. So you don't really need a GPS if you want to fly a very low and slow. But if you do want to fly a GPS, with a GPS, it is Flight 1 compatible for those on long distance flights. So from here on, we're pretty much going to use the throttle to control the pitch of the aircraft. So when the nose goes down, we'll apply more throttle. When the nose goes up, we will decrease the throttle. So we're going to skip the approach to about 300 feet above. I'm going to be quiet. Please enjoy the approach into Key West with the PA-38 from Just Flight. Really enjoyed that landing. Probably put the nose up just a little bit too much as we touched down, but we're going to quickly throw to the replay, then we'll exit the runway, and then I'll give you my final thoughts of the PA-38 Tomahawk from Just Flight.
Not in my house or in the driveway. I'm
So all in all, the Just Flight PA-38 Tomahawk is a pretty good aircraft to fly. She looks extremely well, very high detailed inside and outside of the cockpit. All the systems are pretty much included in a general aviation aircraft, and she looks good on the inside and flies very well and very comfortable. You can fly this aircraft with a GPS, or you can get the Flight 1 GTN and do some long haul. So I'm going to put the Flight 1 GTN in this aircraft now and take it for another spin. Do I think it's value for money? Yes, I definitely do, and I'll leave a link in the description below to the Just Flight's websites where you can pick it up. So I'd like to give a big shout out to the Aus Flight Simmer members. If you'd like to become a member and get exclusive content before everybody else, please hit that blue join button at the bottom of this video. If you're new to the Aus Flight Simmer channel and want to see a weekly content, hit the subscribe button as well. I'm going to leave one of my other favourite videos up just on the right hand side, so why don't you click it and I'll see you on that video.